Welcome back. Turning now to a story that has thrust an uncomfortable question into the spotlight. What happens when you combine artificial intelligence with deadly weapons? For weeks, tensions have been brewing between the Pentagon and AI giant Anthropic. And now the Defense Department is giving the AI company an ultimatum. Let the military use its technology without restrictions or pay the price starting tomorrow. The dispute centers around Anthropic's demands that any military use of its AI must come with significant guardrails to prevent the powerful technology from being used to make lethal autonomous weapons or for the surveillance of Americans. But during a tense meeting earlier this week, Pentagon leadership gave Anthropic a final warning to drop their demands for guardrails by 5 p.m. tomorrow. That's according to a senior Pentagon official. If it doesn't, the Pentagon is threatening retaliation, either by invoking the Defense Production Act to force Anthropic to comply or threatening to cancel its $200 million contract and label Anthropic a supply chain risk, a designation often reserved for companies with ties to foreign adversaries that pose a national security risk. Joining me now is Jacob Ward, veteran technology journalist and host of the Rip Current podcast. Jacob, thanks so much for being here. So let's dive right in. What do you make of this standoff between Anthropic and the Pentagon? How do you see it going?
Well, it's a very new thing in my world. Generally speaking, when I interview tech CEOs at companies that have business with the government, they tend to say, you know, how this stuff is used and the ethical questions that come up around it are not my job. I've often asked them things like, well, the technology you've created, you know, very often you're seeing a company that has like a border patrol drone with a facial recognition camera, stuff that is so far outside the bounds of even the Geneva Convention. You say, well, shouldn't you have to invent the ethics to go with the technology you've invented? And they say, that's not my job. Anthropic is one of the very rare companies that actually has taken a stand on this internally in the way that so many people have suggested these companies should. And that's because they're living in the future. They know what is capable, what AI is capable of producing in terms of surveillance and in terms of military applications. And that's why they have these policies that quote, don't allow the company to track a person's physical location, emotional state, or communication without their consent. You're not allowed to use AI to, quote, produce, modify, design, or illegally acquire weapons. I mean, these are some very fundamental standards they've tried to impose. And in the past, Kristen, it's been government use of this stuff that has imposed restraints, right? Democracy has imposed restraints on these companies. But now we're seeing the opposite. We don't live in that world anymore. Suddenly, this company, which has its own set of standards, turns out to have higher standards, perhaps, than the Pentagon does. And now we're in this strange standoff, truly in the upside down here, Kristen.
It's just fascinating. And look, Anthropic's saying one of the guardrails at once is barring the use of lethal autonomous weapons. What exactly does that mean? What would that kind of weapon look like, Jacob?
Well, we already have seen it. This is the thing to understand. This is not imaginary stuff. This is currently happening. So a company called Otarian, which is a Arlington, Virginia-based company, just recently did a demonstration of multiple drones, multiple fixed-wing aircraft, all controlled by a single system. Even though all of these pieces were made by different companies, basically you buy these things off the shelf, you put them under AI control, and it can go kill someone for you without a human ever having to be consulted. The human doesn't have to pull the trigger anymore. So we're already in a world in which the role of a human has been downgraded from being the one that decides, yes, you should kill someone, to really someone who decides, am I going to get in the way or let this thing go ahead and do its job and kill people automatically? That's the sort of thing that we're talking about. And that's not even taking into account, Kristen, the long list of things. I have a whole piece up at the Rip Current about this, where you have, you know, Wi-Fi systems now where three $30 routers can be used to identify who's in the room and where they are through a wall or in perfect pitch blackness, right? You have all sorts of AI capabilities that were unimaginable 5 years ago that make the possibility of very scary, very real surveillance, identifying people by their heartbeat, how they walk, reading their lips through a mask. All of that is possible with AI. This is the world that Anthropic realizes they are playing in, and this seems to be why they're trying to impose some restrictions here, and why the Pentagon, of course, wants every possible capability that they can get out of this technology.
So, Jacob, who do you think right now has more leverage in this standoff?
That is a great question. So, right, As of now, Anthropic is the only one of these companies that is allowed into the classified military systems. So they're the only ones that have gotten to this highest designation under the terms of their $200 million contract. And so the Pentagon basically has said, you've had them, they've told Axios and others, we're dealing with these guys because they're so good, right? The technology is so effective. So that's the Pentagon feeling that they need these folks. Now then, Anthropic, they also need this. I mean, a government contract is a very valuable, stable source of revenue for a company that's, worth $380 billion, just raised about $30 billion this year, but as a result owes a lot of money to its investors. And so there's a real standoff here, and it's not clear to me. You really have the creator of this company, Dario Amodei, in a real pickle. He, I think, has some leverage, but I think in theory, this is the real problem for him. XAI, Alphabet, Google system, Gemini, and Meta are also in line behind Anthropic for those sorts of contracts. And so this comes back to that same thing that drives tech people all the time is, if I don't do it, someone else is, so I might as well do it. There's a lot of people lined up behind him to do this, Kristen.
All right, well, we'll be watching closely to see what happens in the next 24 hours and beyond with Anthropic. Jacob Orb, thank you so much. We really appreciate all of your insights and information. Well, as the Trump administration embraces the use of AI, at least one prominent Republican is actually backing away. Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis has voiced concerns about the rapid expansion of AI, a position that puts him in sharp contrast with the Trump administration, and therefore at odds with two potential 2028 presidential candidates, Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, as the term-limited governor weighs another presidential run. Here's Governor DeSantis at an AI roundtable earlier this month.
We have a responsibility to create a framework so that this technology and technological innovations are channeled in a way that benefits the people of the state, benefits our kids, our parents, enhances our experience as human beings, not supplant our experience as human beings.
Joining me now is senior national politics reporter Matt Dixon. Matt, thanks so much for being here.
Of course, thanks for having me.
So let's start off with what Ron DeSantis is up to. Why is he taking this stance, and what is his argument?
So functionally, from the AI skeptic standpoint, Republicans or really politicians across the board talk about a couple of things. Job loss, they talk about environmental concerns, broader societal impact, children that could be impacted by so-called chatbots. We have seen there's been reporting about kids who have harmed themselves interacting with AI. And for Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, he sort of checks all of those boxes. He has come out of the gate swinging, and it's a relatively new issue. He ran for president, if folks will recall, in 2024. It didn't go well. This really wasn't an issue for him or anyone. But in recent months, he has really come out swinging on all of the major bullet points that you would expect a skeptical AI politician to hit.
So is this about him carving out a lane potentially in 2028?
Two things. I think, one, he's always tried to tap in a little bit to the populist strain. He is, in the past, his administration has sued social media companies. He's always been a little bit of a tech skeptic. But yes, of course, Ron DeSantis is a savvy politician who his 2024 run ran into the Trump buzzsaw, did not do well. I think he would like to run again. Right now we have J.D. Vance, we have Marco Rubio as sort of the front runners. They're very pro-AI. Ron DeSantis sees an opportunity. He sees a lane. It's good politics, but I think it also leans a little bit to his policy instinct as well.
All right, Matt Dixon, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Great to have you here.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.